welcome back to Jmeter training videos. In today's session, we'll discuss transaction controller. In my previous video, we have gone through the if controller and transaction controller, right? In today's video, let's start the remaining controllers. We'll try to cover one or two transaction controllers. Okay, first I'm adding thread group. Let's go and add the transaction controller. Go to logic controllers. Today let's see loop controller, how it works, and what are the benefits of loop controller, and then we'll try to cover while controller as well. Okay, so let's go and add loop controller. Under that, let me add the sampler, debug sampler. Let's add one of the what is that debug sampler? Yeah, let's try to add oh, this is not the debug sampler, not this is not the one we wanted. So let's go ahead and add the one we required. It should be somewhere in the down. Okay, HTTP sampler. Okay, where is the dummy sampler? Yeah, my bad. So it's not debug sampler, it's a dummy sampler we are going to add, and let's copy the same one and paste it. Okay, and this one let's make it as the one sampler, debug sampler one, and let me add another one outside of the loop controller. Okay, so let me go and add the another one. Yeah, here. Okay, this one I will make it as the sampler 2. So now in the thread group, I added as one thread and one iteration. So what it does is, if you don't add loop counter, right? First disable this one. I will explain you the scenario. So now if we add two times, right? What it does is this thread group will execute two times whatever you have right underneath in this underneath in thread group, whatever samplers you have, those will get executed two times. Okay, so if you have 10 samplers, all 10 samplers will get executed, each one two times. Okay, so let's go ahead in the listener. Let me show you that one. Okay, view results in table. Okay, if I run this one, now this should run two times because I am running this one for two times. If you give continue infinitely, it will run infinitely. Okay, so for now I will run only two times and see how it works. Okay, later I will tell you about the loop counter. Okay, so let's run it. Click save and give some name. I will give the same thing. Okay, for testing purpose. So if you see right now, it executed two times. That is dummy sampler 2. Okay, so yeah, so whatever times you give here, it will execute. Now let's say there is a scenario where I have sampler 1 and sampler 2, or there is only one sampler. Let's move on this one to outside of the controller. Okay, loop controller. So now we have two of them. If I run now, right, in this thread group, what happens, these two samplers will run two times. Okay, so let's clear it and run it again. You can see the same thing. Okay, see sampler 1, sampler 2, two times they got executed, 1 2. Okay, now let's say now I have another sampler that is called dummy sampler. This I want to execute 5 times per iteration. Okay. Whenever my test execute one time, okay, this particular sampler has to execute 5 times. Okay, whereas the sampler 1 and sampler 2 has to execute only one time. This particular sampler alone has to execute 5 times. I have scenario like that. Okay, my scenario is I have to execute sampler 1 and sampler 2 only one time, whereas this particular sampler I have to execute 5 times for each run. Okay, If that is the scenario, what you have to do is you have to add the loop counter. And now let me go ahead and enable this. Under that, you have to add whichever sampler you want to be executed that many times. Here you have the loop count. You can mention the how many times you want to be executed. Okay. So if I calculate, here I mentioned one, right, in the thread loop count. This is thread group loop count. This loop count is related to this loop controller. Okay. Now 1 into 5, that means for one iteration it will run 5 times. If you give 2 into 5, it will run 10 times. Likewise, if you have 3 iterations, 3 into 5, let's say you are running infinitely, then infinity into 5 times. Okay, so likewise it will run. Okay, now if I clear this, right, this sampler 1 and sampler 2 will run only once, because here at the thread group level the count is 1. Okay, whereas this debug sampler alone will run 5 times. Okay, because 1 into 5, 5 times this debug sampler will run, then this sampler 1 sampler 2 will get executed. Okay, so let me clear this and let me run the test. See, now debug sampler executed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, then sampler 1, sampler 2. Okay, so same thing. Now if I go and increase this one to 2 times, then what happens? The sampler first will run 5 times, then debug sampler 1 and 2 will run first iteration. Again the second iteration, the controller will go to top and it will start running from the top to bottom. When it comes to loop controller, it looks okay, I have to execute this one 5 times, so it will execute 5 times this one. Again it will see this is only one time, there is no controller, right? So it will run only one time. Okay, so if you go here and run one more time, right, this time I won't delete, you can see another 5 more, and uh, then sampler 1, sampler 2, again 5 more, sampler 1, sampler 2, like that. See, here you imagine it ran 3 times. Okay, first time this is 5 times. Okay, then this is only one time. Okay, again second iteration, this is 5 times, this is one time, this is one time. Third iteration, this is 5 times, this is one time, and this is 2 times. Okay, likewise. Okay, so this is the way the loop counter loop controller will work. This is very simple. This is just to run more than once. If you want to run any sampler more than one time during your test, then you can add the loop controller. You can make it how many times you want to be added. Okay, run. Okay. Yeah, so that is all about that one. So if you have any doubts, just let me know. Uh, I will explain you further uh, in the comment section. Okay, so yeah, that's all about this loop controller. Now let's move on to the uh, while controller. Okay, so let's go to the logic controllers. Today we'll add while controller. What is while controller and what does it do? Okay, so while controller, first it will check the condition, whatever condition you write here, right? Based on that condition, what it does is it will execute that one until it becomes false. Let's say this condition is true, then it will run. If the condition is false, it won't run. Okay, something like that. Okay, so let's say the best example in your real time, right, there is a status bar. Okay, when you click on something, upload file, it will say 10% completed, 20% completed, 30% completed, 40%, finally 70%, and finally 100% completed status. In that case, the same request you have to send to the server, and you have to keep on checking how much percentage it's completed. Okay, in real time scenario I'm explaining. So in that situation, you have to keep that particular sampler, whichever request is triggering to the server to check the status. That sampler we have to insert into the while controller, and we have to keep on checking the status until it becomes 100%. It has to keep on running. Once it becomes 100%, then it has to come out of the loop. Okay, something like that we have to write. So this while controller, what it does is, until the condition becomes false, it will keep on running. If the condition is true, it will keep on running. Okay, so yeah, something like that. Okay, let me show you one example now here how to uh, do it, right? So here I will keep it dummy sampler 1 underneath while controller. Here I will give 1 equal to 1. So what does it do? 1 equal to 1 is true, right? So what it will run? It will run while controller forever because it never becomes false, right? It always 1 equal to 1 is true. So the condition is true. It will always run this particular while controller until we stop the test. Okay. So let's go ahead and run the test. Okay. So if I run it, see, first sampler 2 got executed because that is the first one. Then while controller keep on running this debug sampler 1 because here 1 equal to 1 is always true. It never becomes false. So it will run forever until you stop the test. It will keep on running because the condition is true. So how do you know? Okay. If you want to know whether the condition is true or false, there is a option. Go to enable debug and click on this one. Okay, then you can see the results. Okay, now enable debug. Okay, so it says level debug level log level set to debug. Okay, now clear it and run it. Okay, now you should see whether the condition is true or false. I don't think now it's showing because I did the cleanup. Okay, let's do one more time. Clear everything. Now go to help and enable debug. Okay, now let's run it and it should show us the uh, while loop whether it is coming or not. Some reason it is not showing, but it should show. Actually we are using while controller and 1 is 1 equal to always true, so it is keep on running this debug sampler 1 forever. Okay, see, if you see this one, right, it is keep on running until you stop the test. This is not what we expected, right? Sometime it will be, it has to become false. Okay, how to write that condition? Let's make this one to be false after some time. Okay, for that what I will do is, for now let me delete this one also, it will make some confusion, right? Yeah, I have debug sampler 2 which will run one time. As for the test, I am running, let's say I am running only one time this time. This will run only once, and this particular debug controller will run based on your condition. Okay, let's say your condition, you are writing something. Okay, here you have to write the condition either in javascript or somewhere, right? So first let's generate the yeah, okay, let's generate the okay, let's generate a random number. Okay, mm, okay, so first write JavaScript or any script. Okay, let's write JavaScript. Okay, first generate random number. Okay, later we'll see whether how to make it. And let's make one number to be generated 1 to 10. Okay, now I am generating a number 1 to 10, and I will store that number to a variable value. Okay, or number. Okay, copy this one. Now I will write the JavaScript. You have to write some function, right, to be validated in the while loop. Okay, here I will mention the expression. Now what I will mention, 3 mm, uh, okay, random number. Yeah, let's say whatever number, random number it is generating, right, that is greater than equal to 3. Okay, whatever number it is generating, let's say sometimes it is 1 to 10, sometimes it generates 1, sometimes it generates 2 or 3. Whatever number it generating, if it is greater than or equal to 3, then only go to the inside loop. If it is 1 or 2, don't go to the loop, something like that you want to write. So then in that case, click on generate this one and uh, take that condition and paste here. Okay, now what it does is this JavaScript will evaluate, it will generate one random number 1 to 10. That number will be saved under the number variable. If the number is greater than 3, then it will become true. If the number is 1 or 2, it has to become false and it will come out of the loop. So let's see how it works. Okay, now let's clear the script. For this you want to see, right, what number it is generating. For that I given the variable as number. Whatever number it generates will store into a number. That number we want to see it, right? You can write some code to see it, or for now I will use debug sampler. Okay, so go to the samplers. There is a debug sampler, guys. Okay, I am adding test plan. Go to thread group, add sampler, add debug sampler. Okay, so variables true. So whenever we run, right, this while loop, whatever number it generates, it will show in the debug sampler. So for that what I have to do is I have to add the view results tree, because we have to see them in the view results tree, right? The what is the debug sampler it is generating. Okay, to see that value what it is generating, for that purpose I added debug sampler. Now the debug sampler will show the values in the view results tree. For that purpose I added view results tree. Now let's run for one iteration, and this while loop what it does, let's say first time it is generating 1. 1 greater than equal to 3, is it true or false? 1 greater than equal to 3, no, right? It is less than 3, so it is false. It never go to this loop, so it never gets executed the sampler 1. Okay, if it is generated number is greater than 3 or greater than 3, then only it will go to inside loop. Okay, let's try to run it and see, guys, how it works. Okay, yeah, see what happens. First it executed sampler 2, then it came to while loop and it executed two times sampler 1, sampler 2, and finally it came to debug sampler. What happens, why it got only executed two times, why it came out? Okay, let's see in the view results tree. If you go here, right, debug sampler, why it came out? Okay, in the variables response data, see the number it is generated to, what we return in the condition, 2 greater than equal to 3, no, right, it is false, so it came out of the loop. What I do is I will copy the same value. I will put inside this debug sampler while loop itself. Okay, let's paste here also, so that every time it runs, right, it will generate one number. That number will be saved in the results. Okay, let's go here and run this one again and we'll see how it is running. See, this time at least it got executed multiple times. Good, we got a lot of data here. Okay, first it got the sampler 2, then it went to the sampler 1, then debug sampler. Why debug sampler? This is for our purpose to know, right, what value it is returning, to understanding. Okay, if you go here, this is sampler 2, then sampler 1 got executed. Why? This condition, what value it is sending, we will see here. See, it generated 10. 3 is greater than 10, so it went inside the loop. Now here this one got executed, this got generated 6, this got generated 3, 3 greater than 3, greater than or equal to. Okay, so it is 3, right? So it went inside 5, 4, 8, 8, 3, finally 9. Finally, it got generated 1. When it generated 1, it came out of the loop. Why? 1 cannot be greater than 3. So it is become false. It came out. When the number is 9, 9 greater than equal to 3. So it went inside. 3 greater than or equal to 3. So it is equal to 3, right? So it went inside. So if the number is greater than 3 or any number greater than 3 or 3, from 3 onwards, whatever number it generates, it always runs through this loop. Whenever the number generation is less than 3, it will come out of the loop. to see that number what is generated. For that purpose, I have written debug sampler. If you want to see in the output log, right, you can write another condition called what is that? Yeah, you can add preprocessor, right? Uh, yeah, we can add post processor. Okay, from the post processor, you can write the value what it the number is generated. Okay, so how to write? Let me add the JSR 223 preprocessor. Now this one is now no more required. You can disable this one. Okay, disable. Okay, and you can see this number what is generating. Okay, you can keep this one even in the thread group level as well. Okay, if you want. Okay, so okay, paste. Okay, two places, one inside that one and outside that one. Okay, so here you just keep uh, log.info. Okay, log or logger, something should be there. Here should be logger.info. Okay, so let's try to use log.info. If it is not working, we'll try to use logger.info. So in the log.info, what it does is it will log the information in the output panel here. In this output, it will generate. How to see this output? Click on this triangle button and you should see here. Okay, log.info here, where's.get. What is that where's.get? That number. Okay, this is the variable, right? The number will be saved here. For that, provide here. So the number should be in parameters because that is a where's.get. Okay, semicolon. Okay, so now it generate a number. That number will be displayed in the log instead of this debug sampler. You can give this way also. Okay, if you run now, the number should be displayed in the logs. Okay, see, processor 99. Okay, first time it is showing null because there is no value. Okay, so now if you see here, right, it got executed only one time. Why? Because the number is 9. Later that number become something else. Okay, so that is the reason. Okay, so likewise we can check what is this number and that number will get generated here. Okay, so this way we can uh, get the values instead of pre post processor. You can add preprocessor as well. Okay, before running this controller, what is the value it is having. Okay, so you can add preprocessor, you can add the same log.info. Okay, same thing, JSR 222 processor, insert that log.info. Okay, this where's that get we'll discuss later. This is the variables to get the parameters, right? Whatever parameter value you have, you want to get that variable number here, you have to insert that same function and it will give you the number. Okay, just run here and see what it is doing. Okay, so that means this time it did not run at all. That means it did not generate any number. Okay, so this is not working because it is not processor, right? So it is not giving any value. Okay, so disable this one, and this way also we can get the number. Okay, if it runs two times, then only we'll get the number. See, 3 we got. If it is 3, it should be executed one time. Okay, if next time it may become 1. So if it is not executed next time, means the number what it generated we don't know. Okay, it is not coming either in the preprocessor or post processor. Okay, so that is the problem. Okay, so yeah, that's all for guys today's session. So this is all about while controller. See you guys in next session. Thanks. Thanks for watching. See you all. Bye for now. Okay.